नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीम् उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। हरे कृष्णा। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। So we are reading Shrimad Bhagavatam, third canto, fourth chapter, titled as Vidurji meets Maitreya Rishi, text number 29. So, in this shloka, Shukadeva Goswami is describing about Lord Krishna's disappearance, pastimes, to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, while hearing all the katha, all the pastimes of Lord Krishna from Shukadeva Goswami, often asked questions. And the reason he asked the questions is because he wanted to know more about Lord Krishna's pastimes. So it's a two-way conversation. It's not just one way, but Shukdev Goswami answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. So in the previous shloka, we learned a question which Parikshit Maharaj asked to Shukdev Goswami. He asked the question to Shukdev Goswami that Lord Krishna, he disappeared from this planet along with all his family members of Yadu and Bhoj dynasty. But only Uddhava was left behind. Uddhava was a great devotee of Lord. Then the question was that why did Lord Krishna leave Uddhava behind and took all other members of family along with him back to his Golok Vrindavan Dham? And to answer that question, Shukadeva Goswami is saying here, Shri Shuka Uvacha Brahma Sapapadeshena Kalena Moghavanchita Samritya Swakulam Sfitam Tyakshan Dehan Achintaya Tyakshan Dehan Achintaya. Tyakshan. Tyakshan is giving up. Dehan. Dehan means the universal form. Achintaya, thought himself. So the translation of this shloka is that Shukadeva Goswami is saying, replying to Parikshit Maharaj's question. Shukadeva Goswami is saying, my dear King Parikshit, the cursing of the Brahmanas was only a plea. But the actual fact was that it was the supreme desire of the Lord. He wanted to disappear from the face of the earth after dispatching his excessively numerous family members. He thought to himself as follows. So the shloka continues further in the next one. But Shukdev Goswami is giving one reason as a desire of Lord. Whatever the Lord desires, you just cannot question the Lord Krishna's plan. Lord Krishna has planned for all his devotees. So he thought something different for all other members of Yadu and Bhoja dynasty, and he had a different plan for Uddhava. When Lord comes, either in the form of Krishna or in the form of Ram or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes with all his associates. All his associates are always there in Golok Vrindavan Dham. And then when he appears as say Lord Sri Ramchandra, then his associates will come as Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, Dashrath, Kaikai, and then Kaushalya, Sumitra, like that Hanuman. All these are eternal associates of Lord. And then when Lord comes as a Krishna, then associates will come as all the gopis, gopas, Yashoda Mata, Nanda Baba, Devaki, Vasudev, and so many other. So, and then when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes as Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Ki Jai. So in this way, Lord never comes alone. He comes always with his associates, his devotees. And when he goes back, he takes them back. Now, every time Lord has different plan. So here in this case, it is Shukdev Goswami saying that like disappearance of the members of Yadu dynasty, the Bhoja, the first part of the question of Parikshit Maharaj was that after disappearance of Yadu and Bhoja dynasty. So that is which being cleared by Shukdev Goswami. He's saying that the members of Yadu and Bhoja dynasty, even though they disappeared after the curse of Brahmanas, but that curse was just a nimitta matra. But actual fact was that it was the desire of Lord Shri Krishna. So Lord personally look after his devotees. Lord Krishna wanted to disappear from the face of the earth after dispatching excessively numerous family members. So Lord Krishna's family was very numerous, excessively numerous. So like there were 16,108 queens and every queen having 10 children. That's a really big family. So he wanted to dispatch them and said, okay, all of you go. I'm following you. I will come back. So in this way, Lord Krishna desired for his.
It's imagination or it was real?
It was real, nothing imagination here. Krishna is unlimited. Krishna has millions of expansions. So 16,000 is nothing. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes here, in this verse, the word Tyakshan is very significant in relation to Lord Shri Krishna leaving his body. Lord Shri Krishna is the eternal form of existence, knowledge and bliss. There is Satchit and Ananda. His body and himself are identical. Actually, there is no difference between Lord Krishna's himself and his body. Like as we discussed earlier also, that in our case, our Atma is different than the body. When our body dies, the Atma goes to another body and then we get another different body. We mistake this body as our self, but our body is not the self. That is a misunderstanding. That is why this misunderstanding is called as illusion. And under the illusion, we think that this is my son, my family, my wife, my house, and then we try to enjoy this body. But actually, there is nothing to enjoy in this body. But somehow or other, the Maya is very strong, and it catches us. It is pretty strong. People with the knowledge also get caught into it. It is not that only ignorant are caught. Like a great sage like Vishwamitra Rishi, even after having all the knowledge of the world, got caught by illusionary energy of Lord Krishna, which is called as Mama Maya Durataya. So it's very difficult to overcome this illusion. But we think that I am this body, I am this body, anything associated with this, my body is real. And this illusion is so overwhelming that everybody gets caught. Even the great devotees, forget about ordinary people. But we always get trapped that I am this body and I want to enjoy this body. So that's why, we have this problem of overeating, oversleeping, laziness. All these problems are because we think that even after having the knowledge of Krishna consciousness, and we are getting trapped into this. So this is a very, Lord Krishna is saying that Mama Maya Durataya. Durataya means very difficult to overcome, but only way we can overcome is constant chanting the mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra is a Cheto Darpada Marjanam. This is a cleaning agent, and this mantra can remove all the misconception from our life. So, whenever and wherever we get a chance, we should not leave a single opportunity of chanting the mantra. Always, whenever we get a moment, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This mantra will clean this dirt of self-identification with body, uh, which is accumulated in our mind for many, many lifespans. Even a small insect thinks that that insect is the body, and a human being also thinks the same thing. That is a real problem. So, in our case, we are different than the body. We are spirit soul, we are pure. But in case of Krishna, Krishna and his body are identical. So, Lord Krishna's body is Satchitananda Vigraha, and our soul is also Satchitananda Vigraha. Our soul has the same quality as Lord of Krishna, but quantity wise we are different. But quality wise we are same as Krishna in the inside, as Atma. So here it is said that Lord Krishna and his body and himself are identical. Therefore, how is it possible that he should leave the body and then disappear from the vision of the world? Here we have a question. Very nice question here Prabhupada is trying to explain. People think that Lord Krishna was just like an ordinary person, and when he left this material world, he left the body and he went. That is not like that. That is a Mayavadi philosophy. There is a great controversy among the non-devotees or Mayavadis. They think like that about the mysterious disappearance of Lord. And the doubts of the man with the poor fund of knowledge have been very elaborately cleared by Srila Jiva Goswami in Krishna Sandarbha. So Prabhupada ji is giving a quote from Jiva Goswami's Krishna Sandarbha where they are talking about non-devotees, Mayavadis, who think that Krishna left the body and then he disappeared. But that is not so. Krishna, when he went along with his body back to home, back to Godhead, Vrindavan Dham. According to Brahma Samhita, Lord has many forms. It is stated here that the Lord has innumerable forms, and when he appears within the vision of living entities as Lord Shri Krishna actually appeared, all such forms amalgamate with him. Besides all these infallible forms, he has universal form as manifested before Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Here in this verse, the word Sphitam is also used, which indicates that he left his gigantic universal form called Virata Rupa, not his primeval eternal form, because there is hardly any possibility of his changing his form of Satchitananda. This simple understanding is at once realized by the devotees of Lord, but those who are non-devotees, who perform hardly any devotional service to the Lord, either do not understand this simple fact or purposefully raise a controversy to defeat the eternity of the transcendental body of the Lord. This is due to the defect called as cheating propensity of the imperfect living entities. This is very important. So, when Lord Krishna left this material world and went back to home, back to Godhead, he left his Vishwarupa form, which is all these material things. What Krishna says, when Arjuna is looking upon Lord Krishna's Vishwarupa, he sees everything, all the living entities, all the Devi Devtas, everything is seen in Krishna's Vishwarupa. So Lord Krishna has three forms. One is Vishwarupa form. Second form is Chaturbhuja Narayan Swarupa, Paramatma Swarupa. And third is Lord Krishna himself in human form. So what Krishna left behind is his Vishwarupa. But his original Rupa, which is the Dvibhuja Rupa, which is the Lord Krishna himself, Narayan Swarupa, he went back to the form. That is what he. But then Mayavadis, they create a controversy. Uh, and they want to prove that Krishna is ordinary person. So they will say whatever they want, but devotees of the Lord have firm faith in Krishna, and devotees always think that no, Krishna is always there in his original eternal form. By practical experience also, it is seen up to the present day that the Lord's transcendental form is worshipped by devotees in different temples. And all the devotees of the Lord factually realize that the form of deity in the temple is not different than the form of the Lord. This is also very important. जो भगवान का जो मूर्ति स्वरूप है, ये भी भगवान खुद ही है. तो हमें ऐसा नहीं समझना चाहिए कि भगवान की मूर्ति हमारे घर पे या मंदिर पे है, वो भगवान से डिफरेंट है. They are, he is exactly the same Lord appearing in front of you. This inconceivable performance of internal potency of Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Lord Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavratah. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavratah. So here in this shloka in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna describes to Arjuna, what is he saying? Lord Krishna is saying, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samahata. Where Lord Krishna is describing his form in 7th chapter Vibhuti Yoga. He says, I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by eternal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So those who are foolish and unintelligent, they will never understand Krishna. Only the devotees can understand Lord Shri Krishna. In the Padma Puran, the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. In the Padma Puran it is said, Ataha Shri Krishna Badi na bhavid griyam indriya. The name and the form of the Lord cannot be perceived by material senses. But when he appears within the vision of mundane people, he assumes the form of a Virata Rupa. This is an additional material exhibition of form and is supported by logic of subject and its adjectives. In grammar, when adjective is taken away from the subject it modified does not change. Similarly, when the Lord quits the Virata Rupa, his eternal form does not change, although there is no material difference between himself and any one of his innumerable forms. So, here, Srila Prabhupada is giving references from Padma Puran, and one of the references he has given is Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavit grahya indriya. So, Indriya means the material senses. And Krishna, who is beyond these material senses, cannot be perceived by material senses. Because our senses are imperfect. Our senses cannot see the things as they are. For example, when we see the sun may appear as a small ring, but the sun is very big, but our eyes perceive it as a small thing. Similarly, sometimes in the night time we might see a rope, and this rope may look like a snake. Or in the desert, when you go, you see a mirage. It looks like a water, but it's a mirage. So what we see may not be true, what we hear may not be true, what we taste may not be true, what we touch may not be true. Like say you touch the cold water, but when you come from like a normal temperature water, when you come outside from the cold weather, the normal temperature water will feel warm.
Anybody's name and form.
While when you touch the same normal water, when you come outside from the warm weather, the same water will feel cold. The water is same, but the feeling is different. So our senses are incomplete. So with incomplete senses, we cannot perceive complete whole. Right?
When we see the name and form of a human being with material sense, but we cannot see that Krishna.
So Lord Krishna's name, we can chant the name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we are chanting this name, actually we are chanting with the heart. Tongue is participating, our ears are participating, but the main organ which is involved is the heart. And that heart is nothing but our intelligence, our Atma is participating into this. So, in this way, Srila Prabhupada is saying that if we try to understand Krishna with his limited senses, it will not be possible. And Lord Krishna, when he appears within the vision of mundane people, he appears in the form of a Virata Rupa. So people who do not have understanding about Lord, they can see God in the form of a sunlight, or they can see God in the form of a moonlight, or the test of the water. Krishna says, "Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhashmi sashishuryaha." So, this is a Virata Rupa, this is a Vibhuti Yoga, 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is saying that, okay, if you cannot perceive my personal form as Lord Krishna, then I can explain you that, okay, the taste of water is coming from me. The smell of the fragrance of the earth is coming from me. The flower smell is coming from me. I am the light of the sun, the light of the moon. Whatever you see the beautiful in this world is coming from Krishna. So in this way we can perceive the Virata Rupa of the Krishna. But when there is a Virata Rupa, there is a personal form of the Krishna also there. So when Lord quits the Virata Rupa, his personal form always remains. Next one. Sri Jiva Goswami and Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have very elaborately explained this incident of the Lord's disappearance in their commentaries, quoting various authentic versions of Vedic literature. We purposefully do not include them all here, to avoid an increase in the volume of this book. The entire matter is explained in Bhagavad Gita as quoted above. The Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. He always keeps himself out of the vision of non-devotees, who still are devoid of love and devotion, and thus he puts them still further away from the Lord. The Lord appeared on the invitation of Brahma, who prayed before Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and therefore when the Lord appeared, all the forms of Vishnu amalgamated with him, and when the mission was fulfilled, all of them disintegrated from him in the usual course. So here Srila Prabhupada is concluding this paragraph of disappearance, pastime of Lord. Actually, devotees do not like to talk more about Lord Krishna's disappearance. We celebrate Janmashtami very elaborately. We celebrate Ram Navami very elaborately. But we never like to talk or even think about, forget about talking. Devotees never even like to think about how Lord Krishna or Lord Rama disappeared from this planet, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from this planet. We even never imagine, we are not interested. We are always thinking that, okay, Krishna is always there and he is there in our heart as Paramatma, he is there in the Vishwarupa, and he is there in his personal form as Bhagwan. Devotees never think that Krishna is not there. Devotee always knows that Krishna is always there. So, ito narsimha parato narsimha yato yato yam tato narsimha pahe narsimha rudaye narsimha narsimha madevi sharanam prabhade. He is there everywhere. Why should we worry about this? But for the non-devotees, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I will not reveal anything to them because they are not interested. Why should I reveal to them if somebody is not interested? So in this way, Srila Prabhupada ji concludes the commentary on this shloka. He says that Lord appeared because the Brahma came and prayed to Lord Krishna. All the dharti was being overburdened. The earth was being overburdened by the demoniac people. So everybody went to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji went to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. and he prayed him that, hey Vishnu, please help us out. And then Lord Krishna, he, uh, he appeared with all the forms of Vishnu. So Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, everything amalgamated, and all those forms came along with Lord Krishna. All the Devi Devtas also came and helped Lord Krishna. And then the work was done. Lord Krishna decided to go.
How do you study Shrimad? How do you come out of this? When do you come out of this? Lord Krishna
What is it?
when a student wants to study, how do you come out of this?
So, if you really want to study this all pastimes of the Lord, should be heard from a devotee, not from non-devotees. That is the only criteria here.